Reece James has had a rough few years. He's one of the brightest prospects in English football. He's supposed to be Chelsea captain. He's been talked about as a future England captain, but he just keeps getting these hamstring injuries. And he got another one last month. That's why he's currently out. But, fortunately for Reece, Chelsea have a world-class medical team. So when he hobbled into the treatment room a few weeks ago, they would have sprung into action and fired up the cryotherapy chamber, knocked him up a stem cell smoothie, and just left no stone unturned in his recovery. But may I be the first to suggest another area of his rehab that Chelsea might want to address, and that is Reece's personal training sessions with crystal meth dealer Michael Boateng. So, Michael Boateng he's a former Crystal Palace Academy player, and he's now heading to the Slammer. He's just pled guilty after being caught with 16 kilos of meth in a raid on his Croydon flat. So that's a street value of $1.5 million.
Wow.
Sort of Breaking Bad territory, that.
Yeah.
Don't know if the quality's as good as Breaking Bad, but it's big numbers. And actually, he's had a pretty rough time of it. So he was at Crystal Palace Academy, and then he was a sort of like lower league and then non-league footballer. And while he was playing non-league, he got caught match fixing and did time. But then he went straight and became a personal trainer to Premier League footballers, including James. Actually, his client list is littered with faded English prospects. So the other clients he mentions working with, Jadon Sancho, Ryan Sessegnon, and Callum Hudson-Odoi, who, to be fair, did score a screamer the other day.
Yeah.
Against Liverpool. But, generally, there's a bit of a common theme with those players.
Yeah, that is weird.
Don't know what he's putting in those protein shakes. It's concerning. In fairness to Jadon, Ryan, Callum, and Reece, I do get the impression that Michael might have kind of oversold how much the players train with him. He basically went on a podcast after he got out of jail and was saying, like, this is my new life now, I'm going straight. And he just mentioned some players he worked with. He said he did a bit of bodyguard work for them as well, which
okay.
I guess he knows some tough guys probably.
I think that's probably more in line with his other pastimes. Yeah.
Hopefully those are the only services he's offering.
Yeah. So personal trainer, just doing sessions in the park with them?
Yeah, a bit of Pilates. Yeah. He says he's done personal training he's a personal trainer to those guys, but I don't know if he still is or how many times he did. I'm obviously not suggesting Reece James is on the meth, Breaking Bad, but yeah.
I mean, if he isn't that was what Andre Agassi, his sort of get out story was that his friend spiked his smoothies or something with crystal meth.
His friend who has the most methy name ever, Slim.
Yeah.
Slim spiked his Sprite and he drank it by accident, that's what he said.
Yeah.
But well, it's not true. He was honking on the pipe. If
Reece ever does test positive, then he's got a great alibi.
Which he won't be doing because he hasn't been taking meth. I was looking also into the match fixing story. It's quite interesting. So I think he was the first person to be convicted for match fixing in 50 years. He was playing for Whitehawk, non-league team, and he met with these shady Asian businessmen in a cafe at East Croydon Station. It's glamorous. Those station cafes that have names just like Refresh. There's a coffee cup with steam coming off the logo. They're a bit depressing. Anyway, they gave him £367, very specific. And he agreed in
£367 for match fixing, surely.
Yeah, well, so he basically they basically said, here's some money just to stay in touch with us, and in future would you be up for taking 2 yellow cards? So he never actually even did it.
£367, such a specific amount.
I reckon it's
just they just emptied their pockets.
So sorry, it was
just got
coins.
I reckon there's probably another 48 pence there as well.
Maybe it was going to be 370, but they had a latte in the East Croydon Station Cafe.
To be fair, I have been to that station cafe in East Croydon, and it is pricey.
Well, if you're going to Gatwick, you have to change that.
Yeah, they sell sausage rolls for £8.
So he wouldn't have even got a sausage roll.
No.
Or maybe they each had a sausage roll, and it was going to be £400.
Yeah.
Anyway, he agreed to 2 yellow cards, but apparently other players got £5,000 for a red or an own goal, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and a sausage roll.
Yeah, I guess sausage roll. That's on the house. But anyway, unfortunately, what Michael didn't realise is that one of the shady Asian businessmen was an undercover policeman, and they all got busted. So he never even did the fixing, but he got done for conspiracy to, and he had no idea it was a crime. But he ended up doing 16 months in jail, and then actually he got out, and then he was caught dealing weed as well. I should mention. So they raided a weed farm and they found his fingerprints on a jar that contained some weed. So he went back to jail.
How did he get done for the crystal meth? Was that also undercover?
I imagine so.
Was Ryan Sessegnon working with the meth?
He's an agent provocateur. Yeah. To be fair, he's got a lot of time on his hands.
Yeah, true.
That's mean, but yeah. So anyway, he then after the weed, he became a PT to those players and a bodyguard. But then the meth took over.
Yeah,
as it does.